Hey everybody, how's it going? It's the Daily Shooter, and I know not a ton of people talk about maintenance and cleaning products these days anymore on YouTube. It's not a super exciting topic, but it's a very important topic, and I had a company send me out their new CLP about 6 weeks ago. Company is Trigger Fanatics, is their CLP right here. And instead of just doing a video where I showed you guys how it cleaned and did my review based on that, I decided to actually use it on a couple firearms that I use pretty frequently here. My Glock 34 and then this Savage and an MDT chassis. These are two pretty frequently used firearms for me. So I decided to use it on that. Been using it for the past 6 weeks or so, and I've been trying to keep up maintenance on it so that I can kind of get an idea of exactly how well this stuff works. And so I can give you a full review, not just a, hey, look, it cleans something. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to talk about the Trigger Fanatics CLP, which stands for Cleans, Lubricates, and Protects. CLPs are my favorite because instead of having a 2 or 3 step process, you can get everything done with just this one bottle. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with the Glock 34. If you guys watch the channel a lot, you know that this gets a lot of play on the channel. It's because it's one of my absolutely favorite guns. This thing is completely upgraded top to bottom, and I love it. So I went ahead and I treated this 6 weeks ago with the Trigger Fanatics. I cleaned it about a week after just to kind of see how it was doing. So it's been about 5 weeks or so since this thing has been cleaned with that solution. So we're gonna go ahead and take this thing apart so I can show you guys what it looks like right now, and then we'll go ahead and we'll do a quick cleaning with it so I can show you how it works. But let's just go ahead and check it for safety here. There's nothing in the chamber. We have no magazine, double check. Everything looks good, so let's go ahead and take this thing apart. Point in a safe direction, pull the trigger, and we'll take this slide off. Now, one thing I can tell you that I've already noticed about this cleaner is that it actually prevents it from getting too dirty. And that's one thing that I can really appreciate, because if it prevents a lot of that carbon from building up on the firearm too much and keeps me from having to clean it as much as I used to, then that is kind of a big win. So this is what the barrel looks like right now. If I can show you guys, this is what the barrel looks like right now. This is after 5 weeks of shooting. It seems like it's kind of dirty, but not really all that bad. It's just got a little bit of carbon buildup and a little bit of carbon buildup right there on the back of the barrel near the feed ramp and so forth. So it's a little bit dirty, but definitely not as dirty as you would think, because I've probably put, oh wow, over the last 5 weeks, well over 1,000 rounds through this thing. It still feels like it has a layer of lubricant on it, which is kind of what I'm looking for as well. You know, a lot of times when you get a CLP, it'll seem like it'll dry out, and it doesn't feel like there's any lubrication on it at all. You know, I've used other CLPs in the past where after the first day or so, it feels like the barrel's completely dry, and this one still feels like it has a little bit of lubricant on it, so that's fantastic. Again, it kind of kept the carbon from building up, and for the most part, I mean, I can kind of wipe off the carbon with just my thumb. So if I can do that, I know that it's going to clean really nice and easy. Now for me, I like to use just small pieces of old pajamas for my kids' pajamas because they're 100% cotton and they don't leave anything behind. But without even adding any, I can probably wipe this barrel almost completely clean. So basically what you're doing is you're making for a faster, more easy cleanup. And it's incredible. It's actually coming off really, really well. I mean, I have some pretty heavy carbon buildup right around the chamber, around the edge of the chamber, but for the most part, all the other carbon is just wiping right off, and that's because I think that lubricant layer that stays on there kind of prevents it from sticking to the actual part itself. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and give it a spray, see if we can get the rest of that carbon off without even scraping it. I don't even have a wire brush or anything. I'm just going to use the cloth and see if it comes off with that. If it comes off with that, then obviously it's going to come off with the wire brush. So it seems like we're getting probably about 70% of that carbon buildup. Again, we're, you know, over 1,000 rounds on this one. Seems like we're getting about 70-75% of that carbon buildup off without even using a wire brush. Now, before we hit the barrel with the wire brush, I do want to mention that I've been using a Cerakoted slide with this stuff just to see if it had any effect on the Cerakote at all. And the Cerakote's in perfect condition. So apparently it doesn't affect your Cerakote or your plastic whatsoever. I've gotten it on both the plastic and the Cerakote, and I don't see any damage to either. So I'm really happy about that. Now, this is just a standard Glock brush, just a standard Glock cleaning tool. We're going to go ahead and use this to try and get off some of that carbon buildup that is around the chamber right there. I just try and keep my cleaning nice and easy. I don't overdo it. Now, I know it's kind of hard to see on camera, so I'll roll in some photos, but this stuff did a really good job at cleaning up this barrel. and making it look really nice. I mean, it looks pristine. I am extremely happy. So the fact that it kept it lubricated after all that time, you could still physically feel the lubricant. The fact that it protected it from rust, even though I do everything I can to protect my firearms from rust anyway. The fact that it protected it from rust, it still felt lubricated, and then it cleans up this nice. And this is some really, really good stuff. Okay, so now that we got that all cleaned up and everything looks good, let's go ahead and move on to the big boy. This is my Savage Model 110 Tactical. It is in a MDT LSS XL Gen 2 chassis, and we have a Trijicon AccuPower scope on top of it. Now, obviously, you're not going to shoot thousands of rounds through this thing in a matter of weeks. I mean, unless you could, I suppose, but definitely I don't. I take my time between each one of my shots. This is more of like a long-range tactical firearm right here. So I take a little bit more time instead of just, you know, blowing through rounds like I have a ton of money in the bank. Nonetheless, it still gets fairly dirty, and it's something that needs to be cleaned. Sometimes I shoot cheap tool ammo out of it, and that stuff is really bad. This one right here is also treated with the Trigger Fanatics. I put it on about 6 weeks ago, and I have not cleaned this one since, because again, the round count is much lower. So let's go ahead and wipe this bolt down so that we can take a look at how dirty it was. Got a new cloth here, and it's, you know, it's fairly dirty. It's really not all that bad, to be honest with you, but that's cool. It's actually kept it fairly, good grief. No joke, this stuff just comes right off. I mean, I've used a lot of CLPs in the past from different companies and stuff, and put it on there and let it sit for a while, take it out, do a bunch of shooting, and I come back, and it comes off for the most part, but not this good. And this is really surprisingly good. I mean, I don't even know if I need to do any further cleaning on this. And this was, I mean, I've used it quite a bit, and the cloth is turning black. But yeah, I'm not sure I even really need to do much cleaning with this at all. I mean, I am legit impressed with how well that cleaned that bolt, because this bolt was dirty, but the bolt face itself was really dirty, and I didn't have to do pretty much any work to it at all. So let's just go ahead and spray it down one more time and see what else we can get out of there. And I don't have to use anything. Now, like I said before, I didn't want to get this stuff and then do a cleaning and show you guys whether or not it cleaned, because when it comes to a CLP, there's a lot more than that. When it says that it lubricates and protects, there's got to be some type of test period there. So again, we had a sample size of 2 firearms, both a pistol and a rifle, and a test period of 6 weeks that I've been using this stuff. And I really like the Trigger Fanatics product a lot. I mean, this stuff is pretty cool. This is a 4-ounce bottle of the Trigger Fanatics solution right here, and it's pretty good price. It's not super affordable, like it's not, you know, Walmart cheap, but this is a pretty advanced chemical, and I gotta say that it works really well. I'm really happy with it. So again, if you guys are interested in Trigger Fanatics, I'll put a link down below. You guys can check that out. I want to thank you all very much for stopping by, for checking out this video. Even though I know cleaning videos aren't the most exciting thing in the world, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe. Have a great day.